Wow. Welcome back to Gears and Glory, everybody. I'm Sof.
And I am Liv.
And that's the Qatar national anthem. Wow. And we're here recapping a hell of a race because, whoa.
What the frick was Qatar? I feel like I'm saying this every weekend at this point, but what the frick was Qatar?
Here's one thing I'll say about it. Pirelli gets a lot of commentary of oh, the tires are too good or the tires are not good enough. What mandatory stints on them did was it made this race awesome.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, not a lot happened. The corners are all very fast.
Yeah.
It's really hard to overtake because even turn one's really fast.
Yeah.
There were some dives that were done beautiful, but it's tough. I've never seen so many double stacks in my life.
Beautifully executed for the most part, though.
It was synchronized swimming.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
No, they did really well, actually. I was quite impressed.
Everybody, everyone in their mother, though, because they'd be one lap after and they'd be unsafe. The FIA was unsafe release for this person and this person and this person. And then they'd be just kidding. It's fine. We'll leave it alone.
Weekend, there was so many unsafe release and pit lane incidents. F2, holy shit, I think half the grid was penalized last night for something to do with the pit lane, whether it was speeding.
That's so funny.
Or safe release. I dead set think at least 10 out of the 22 drivers got penalized.
This is the one that has the tunnel, right? I think Qatar is underground pit entry or something.
I think Abu Dhabi exit. That's the tunnel.
Oh, that's what I'm thinking of. I was making my post for next week of the fastbacks. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself.
It's fine. We're just excited because if you didn't watch Qatar, you may not know the championship battle will be 3-way into Abu Dhabi. McLaren fumbled it so bad.
It was, and here's the thing, and we've been saying it all season. I think McLaren is really good at hunting people down. Yeah. And I know I've said this, and I think Gunther Steiner was the one who said it first, and I'm just repeating his words because that guy knows freaking everything. He's been on the inside, you know? Mm-hmm. They are good at chasing people down, but they're not good at being chased yet. And I think that was the key thing, because the massive fumble with the mandatory 25 lap maximum on the tires, there was a RIP moment of silence for Nico Hülkenberg and his Sauber.
Yeah.
A little bit of contact. I'm very sorry also to your man, Pierre. They had a little bit of it was a racing incident, bumped tires, and Nico went absolutely spinning lap 8, which was the earliest. It was the earliest they could have gone. And shout out to Ruth Buscombe. I've recently subscribed to her strategy briefings, and I was reading it this morning. Huge. Highly recommend. Obviously, it's Ruth Buscombe. Where can you go wrong? But she's really got it all, actually. She's super intelligent. She has an amazing job. Beautiful young lady. So sorry, I sound like my mom. Today's accounting episode, in case you didn't notice. So it was a 25 lap maximum on the tires. Lap 7 or 8 was the earliest you could swap tires to do 25, and then lap 32 you would do the other mandatory pit stop to do the last 25 laps to the end. Yeah. So that's why lap 32 was such a big number that they kept mentioning. And the safety car happened from Nico's crash exactly in that window. But because McLaren they don't have Hannah Schmitz. I'm really sorry. I gotta look that one up, but I will after I finish saying this. But she was on top of it. She said, and we pit and we box both cars, double stack. I don't care how it happens. We need to pit now. And everybody came in behind. Everybody except for Ocon, who then came in the next lap, pitted for new tires, except for Lando and Oscar. That was the fattest L of the weekend.
You know what? That was the moment that I think everybody knew it was game over. And I think that is truly the moment Oscar Piastri's mental game to this championship switched, because obviously he's been very giving in to what the team wants. But from
All
that
season.
onwards, he was so vocal and so not rude, but stern over the radio. He was like, "No, we need to do this.
Assertive. Yes.
That's the word, assertive." Like, it was beautiful to freaking see, because the amount of times he's been like handed team orders or whatever this year, and he's good bloke. I mean, they both have. Anytime they get team orders, they hand it over, whatever.
Yeah.
We've been saying it all year. If they're not going to pick a front runner, the drivers themselves are going to have to start getting not nasty, but like they're going to have to play their own game.
Yeah. And like some people are going to say that's nasty. Because
Yeah.
like they said the same thing about Sebastian Vettel, and Sebastian Vettel, to be fair, was kind of insane when he was doing it.
Feral.
But like that's also why he won. And that's one thing that I think is really hard. And I feel like we talk about this every week, is I feel like fundamentally, part of me likes that McLaren isn't picking a number one driver, because it is the most fair. And they are giving equal opportunity to their drivers to prove who is the best driver. But, big, massive but in there.
Yeah.
This isn't a fair sport. Money will get you ahead. Wind tunnel time will get you ahead. Having the right people on your team will get you ahead. It's not a fair sport. And specifically the fact that your teammate is your biggest rival makes it inherently unfair within the team, which is something so unique that you don't see in other sports. Like in soccer, you're going to like get an assist for a goal, and that is a team win.
Yeah.
Like Jared Bowen isn't going to win more because Thomas Socek only gave him the setup for the goal. Whatever. West Ham players, I love them. I have not been keeping up. I had to take a break because there's too much going on. But like one player's not going to benefit more than the other on the same team.
Yeah.
That's what is so unique about this, is like there is the constructors that has already been won, and I understand that is so huge for the money and for, you know, as a team, as an organization. But at the end of the day, you're also not just an organization. You are two drivers, and one of them is going to have to win, and all of the other ones are basically going to have to lose.
Yeah, 100%. And that's why I'm like in like two minds. Obviously, especially over this weekend, we've seen so much footage come out. I'm going to sound so biased saying this. I don't mean it from a place of bias. It's just simply what we've seen. There has been so much like discourse within McLaren, and they are so separated. They are all for Lando. Unless they are literally Oscar's pit crew, his side of the garage, they are all about Lando. We saw that video after the sprint race. Zach Brown seemingly appearing to look like he's just going to walk straight past Oscar, who's just won the sprint race, straight to Lando before. I mean, this is all like, it's perception. Like, this is how I perceive it, at least. It looked like he was going to keep walking, and it looked like he went, oops, my other driver just won. I better go congratulate him. And it was a split second, back over to Lando. Obviously, when Oscar got pole, Lando's side of the garage looked like they wanted to die. And while I understand, like, you'd prefer your driver that you're on the side of the garage for to be getting that pole or be getting that win, at the end of the day, you work for McLaren. A McLaren driver got that win. A McLaren driver got that pole. You should still be somewhat excited.
Even if just for the cameras.
Literally. I'm not saying you should be over the moon, because obviously your driver that you're on the team for didn't get that. But, like, that's still crucial to your whole organization and team. You shouldn't look sad about it. Does that make sense? Like, not saying screaming, cheering, over the moon, but you should be happy for him.
Yeah, and that's what I think is the tough part of, like, the organization versus the quote-unquote individual, or, like, the side of the garage, is, like, that's... They've put themselves in a really tough position, I think. And, like, again, fundamentally, like, I understand, and, like, my heart wants to believe that, like, giving both drivers an equal opportunity to succeed is going to give the best battle. And, like, to be fair, entertainment-wise...
This is gold.
Yeah, it's been great. But, like, sport-wise, to F1 as, like, a competition, you can't, like, it's the age-old saying, one bird in the hand is better than two in the bush.
I've never
heard. Oh, maybe it's an American thing. I mean,
you coming out with the most American sayings, and I am shocked every time, and I literally love this.
No, and the thing is, because I grew up speaking Spanish in a Colombian household, I learned some of them in like high school. And people would say things to me and I'd be like, that's an insane thing to say. What are you talking about? Of like, my teacher was like, oh, it's the pot calling the kettle black. And I was like, what? I don't understand. And then it was like, well, because they're both black. And I was like, how am I supposed to know that?
My
They
kettle's
could be whatever color they want.
yeah.
I don't know.
What if it's
Anyways,
pink? No, but I think
yeah.
fan perspective, this like battle between the two McLarens, beautiful, fun, great, exciting, anxiety provoking, great. I just can't imagine from the driver's perspective and the team's perspective, I can't imagine how frustrating it must be to like have this battle, especially from like each side of the garage. Like we said, yeah, you should be happy for each other, but you are separate sides of the team, I guess. So I can't imagine how frustrating it is. And like, obviously, we see drivers be like, we have an on-track relationship and an off-track relationship. They don't merge together. Do team personnel have to have this too? Like, do they have to be like on track, that other side of the garage? I'm not friends with any of the mechanics or engineers over there, but we can still be friendly. Or like, I don't know how I could separate the two. I feel like if you piss me off on track, I'm gonna be pissed off off track.
I'm definitely that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's so tricky, especially because it's been so interesting to hear them on the radio too, of like, it's hard sometimes even to tell who they're talking about because the McLaren engineers will just say like the car in front, especially to Lando, and Lando is behind Oscar.
Especially in this
or the other car.
Hey, this morning it was, but the start of the race, when Lando started being like, it was when everyone had pitted under safety car except for the McLarens, and he said about if we knew the car ahead was staying out, why wouldn't we pit? And
it made it sound like a completely different team.
Yeah, and I took laps and laps to realize, oh my god, he is speaking about the car.
Yes. No, it took me so long. It literally took me like seconds of like, hold on, let me brush the dust off and let the gears turn in my freaking brain to understand like, oh, they're talking about Oscar.
Yeah. And it blew my mind also because obviously we've heard like McLaren and Lando speak about like whoever the car ahead is should get priority pit stop and whatnot. But like for Lando to be like, oh, the car ahead stayed out, so we should have pitted. That's not the car ahead choosing priority, is it? Like, do you know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense, but I was just like, it was weird. Whole thing. It was odd. It was really odd.
Yeah. Well, so that brings me to the start of the race, which also we have neglected so far to talk about the Max Verstappen of it all. I wish I could like Max Verstappen and like, what's it called? Fireworks.
Oh, yeah. I'll try and edit something similar in. Maybe it'll be a gold writing. I don't know.
Just like handwriting. Just like
scribble it on.
Yeah. So Lando, I feel like, has reverted a little bit to like choking, basically. I'm trying to find a nicer word for it, but like choking at the start. And I don't think he actually had a bad start. I think he actually had a slightly better start than Max. But it's that second phase that Lando has struggled with in the past, where Max gets the clutch engaged and gets the car under him and pushes harder, faster, that immediately lap one, turn one, and then Max was in P2.
Yeah.
Immediately. And I will say, Lando had the most difficult position of all of them. Oscar was P1. You have to get a good job, and you can fight back to even P2 because you have net 8 meters of advantage because you qualified fastest. 100%.
Yeah.
You know, that's why you want to qualify well. Max was not worried about anybody behind him.
No.
Lando had to deal with both. He had to deal in front and behind, and I will say that was the most difficult position to be in, was P2.
100%.
Forget the racing line, like forget anything else. Like, because he had Oscar ahead and Max behind, specifically Max. I don't know if it would have gone the same if Oscar was behind, but specifically because Max's Red Bull looms enormous in rear mirrors, I think Lando had the most difficult starting position, and I think he's kind of gotten in his head the closer the end of the season has gotten, which like, who wouldn't be? But you can't afford that.
He would have gotten in his own head about, because obviously Max is like not a dirty racer, but he is a very like,
he'll kill you.
Yeah, he's like a very risky racer almost. Like he will dive bomb you into turn one. So like I reckon he
Well,
catch himself
yes.
about that. Do you know what I mean? Like even though
Yeah.
yeah, he should have just held his position, made sure he was slightly ahead so the corner was his. I reckon it got to him and he definitely would have psyched himself out about Max Verstappen behind him. I think anyone would though, not even just Lando. Anyone would
A
be like,
100%.
give him the place. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and speaking a little bit about like Max pushing the limits, Max's team behind him also backs him 1000%. And if he does get a penalty, they will be at the steward's office, whether it was Christian
Yeah.
or whether it's Laurent, like
Yeah.
they will be there fighting for their guy and saying, murder? What do you mean? That blood's
Yeah.
not human blood.
Yeah.
La, 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 la. He was at the butcher shop. It's fine.
Mhm.
Like they will do whatever they can so
Yeah.
that that penalty does not stick. We've not necessarily seen the same from McLaren. Specifically for Oscar, but I don't know if they would also do it for Lando. Like I don't know if they've been in to like contest any penalties.
I think I feel like there was something earlier in the year that I was like, or maybe it was last year. I don't know. I think to an extent, McLaren would be like that for Lando. To an even lesser extent for Oscar, I think it sounds so bad, but like, it's. I'm not even just being. I don't think I'm being biased. Like, it's just what we've seen from McLaren. From a fan's perspective, it just doesn't look like they want a bar of Oscar. Even down to the point of Zach Brown in court over the Alex Palou drama,
That was crazy.
openly admitted he didn't want Oscar. You've admitted it. We can kind of see it. Like, put two and two together. You know what I mean? So I don't think
Yeah,
it's.
well, and even more than that, like when they go to the stewards, I feel like it's less about themselves and more about like, especially when it was Christian Horner, it was Zach Brown saying Christian Horner is doing something that he's not supposed to be doing. Teacher, he's
Yeah,
not supposed to be doing that. Or like it's usually about like another team that's doing really really well, which hasn't like they haven't had reason to a lot this season because they've been top dog.
they've been the.
Um, yeah, like they're usually I feel like at the stewards saying like I don't know, you should probably check out their Mercedes, like that feels illegal, like just like follow up, like not that I know anything but like I would just like make sure they're not cheating.
Yeah,
And it feels like that's so much more of like their approach when it comes to dealing with or requesting things of the FIA.
yeah. And you know what? Speaking of illegal, it is so ironic how much they have changed since. I
Since
mean,
the plank.
speculation, rumors. There's no actual official confirmation that it was McLaren with the illegal device in Brazil. It's pretty obvious though. Obviously, FIA said, illegal device has to go for Vegas. Magically, McLaren, sorry, but they suck in Vegas. They might have been good
They
on,
were slow.
but you know, disqualifications. You can't say you did well when you end up disqualified regardless. And ironically, since they've had to raise the car for Qatar, Oscar Piastri is back. His pace is back. His confidence is back. That man was on fire.
Well, and he loves this. I think it was a really good place for him to kind of get his feet back under him and kind of stand up straight again because he has said that he really likes guitar, which I know I love DC. He's so dreamy. But he was on F1 TV talking about how Oscar saying that he loves a track like this is kind of cool in the sense that like it's a very fast, demanding, and technical track because the corners are so quick. I rode on board with a couple drivers on like F1 TV during the race of like I was on with Isaac Hajar. Oh my god, whoa. What my turn?
Yeah.
Hello, spit it out. Isaac Hajar I was on with of like what just like going through like the second like the second half of sector 2. Hello, spit it out. What are you saying, Sophia? The second half of sector 2 into sector 3 like right before the final turn.
Yeah.
Just like the fast flowing corners, but I was on with Oscar. That car, he was having a Max Verstappen moment. Like it was like Avatar the movie. He became like one with the car, his little tail connected to the car or whatever, plugged in.
Yeah.
It was nuts because it was so snappy, so quick, so direct. He was using all the track and not more because track limits was huge this race. Oscar Piastri was hooked up this weekend.
And you know what? I can't even say like I'm necessarily like an Oscar Piastri fan, but like I'm Aussie. I have to back the Aussie. You know what I mean? So obviously I'm rooting for him, but it's so much fun to see the difference between the start of his rookie season, where that car was disastrous, like DNF'd his first ever Grand Prix, to like now where he's a rocket ship fighting for the championship in his third season. Like, I love the kid. I absolutely love it. It blows
Yeah,
my
it's kind
mind.
of crazy.
And you know what? It's really nice to see no. It's really nice to see 3 consecutive years of him winning the Qatar sprint race. 3 years in a row. All 3 years. Like, are you kidding me? Icon. Absolute icon.
Yeah, sorry, I'm looking at my notes. We didn't talk about the sprint at all because honestly, after that race, the sprint was kind of like, okay.
You know what?
The sprint was
I'll never
really
get back.
interesting because they did discover that going into the gravel would cut up the tires, which was crazy. I feel like the gravel should be not do that.
Not.
Maybe. But yeah, they were like, it's like slicing up the tires. Cause then, oh, who was it that got a puncture? Wasn't it Pierre that got a puncture during the race?
Yeah, during the like Grand Prix,
Yeah, the feature race. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
oh, so sad. That
But
was a crap incident because I think you can just have to call it a racing incident because like Hulk kind of gave him enough room, but also like Pierre was ahead.
and it was just tires bumping too. It just so happened that like the balance got knocked off so much that he spun and it was just in a bad spot.
Hulk was
Unlucky, really.
really angry though. He was so angry at Pierre.
He was mad. Well, and like to be fair, he was making a lot of headway. He passed Charles, which I would have worn my sad Charles shirt today, but I just like I'm already sad about it.
Too sad.
Yeah, the Ferrari performance was so bad. This is a good segue for us. But like so Nico started on the softs, right? Really aggressive.
I
Great
don't
strategy
know what
call.
to start on softs though because I feel like they're lasting 5 laps
Yeah.
no matter what. Do you know what I
Well,
mean?
and that was the interesting thing of like think that everybody maybe was expecting to go to lap 23, go 25 or so laps out from that and then do a short final stint.
Yeah.
That's what I would have done, but then the safety car changed everything, which was literally
Perfect
because of Nico.
so good. He took one for the team. That man is rooting for Max Verstappen in the championship. You cannot tell me otherwise. That was
Yeah, I mean,
that was perfect timing. The fact that it was down to the exact lap that they needed to like pit to make
to
it
go all the way to lap 32 to finish it on one set. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
cinema.
No, it was nuts. It was
Yeah.
nuts.
No, it was absolutely cinema.
Yeah.
It was perfect. I mean, like,
Well, yeah, and again,
but
that comes back to Hannah Schmitz. I did look it up. It's Schmitz with a Z at the end. Making the call to pit because she did not react to the McLarens staying out. She
no.
said, "This is better for us. We're going to do that." And that's where McLaren needed to be behind Max to react to that. And you know, everybody, literally everyone else pitted. And that's when like the F1 TV broadcast, they were like, they've kind of like really messed it up pretty bad major style.
Even like Sky Sports, who like we know they love McLaren, they love Orlando. Even they were like, oh, and like even towards the end of the race, they were like, yeah, Lando's got no chance, and I was like,
Well, and it was so interesting because they were saying like it's going to be more flexible for us. Sure, in your own like independent space, you will have more flexibility to make that decision. In reacting to everybody else, you will be much more constrained.
yeah,
But what was also interesting to me and kind of crazy was that they did not then double stack the McLarens when they did pit.
no,
They told Oscar to push, full push. This is the last of the tires. Box. Maybe it was the first, I think it was the second stop. And they let Lando do a full they gave him more time with the knowledge that this was the last lap of the tires to do a better in lap.
Yeah.
Which was kind of crazy. But it was nuts. I mean, it was just like a miss on their part and now they're dealing with the repercussions and then you know, this we've not mentioned but it netted to Max is now P2 in the championship.
Yeah.
And he's separated by 12 points to Lando.
You know what? I feel like this is a fun segue to like touch on the like stats on who can win the championship, because obviously it's still the
Yes.
three-way fight. I'm going to start with Oscar Piastri because that is the simplest. It's going to be hard for him to win. He can do it. If he finishes first, it doesn't matter where Max finishes, but Lando will have to finish 6th or lower. Doesn't seem too unrealistic considering today's race, but also anything can happen. You know what I mean? And I think it was last year Lando won in Abu Dhabi, so like we know he's like pretty strong with it. He's had a lot more experience with racing in Abu Dhabi. Oh, not really. Like a little bit more. Like Oscar still would have raced there in F2, but like, you know what I mean? But if Oscar finishes 2nd, Max has to finish 4th or lower, while Lando has to finish 10th or lower. That is the only 2 ways Oscar can win the championship. He has to be 1st or 2nd with those conditions. Bit stressful as an Aussie, I cannot lie to you. For Max Verstappen to win the championship, there's 3 options. If he comes first, it doesn't matter where Oscar finishes, but Lando will have to finish 4th or lower. If Max finishes 2nd, Oscar will have to finish 3rd or lower, while Lando will have to finish 8th or lower. And if Max is 3rd, Oscar will have to finish 2nd or lower, while Lando will have to finish 9th or lower. How does that work? Why is it 3rd for Oscar if Max is 2nd, but 2nd for Oscar if Max is 3rd? I don't know.
Say that again.
Behind this. If Max finishes 2nd, Oscar has to finish 3rd or lower. But if Max finishes 3rd, Oscar has to finish 2nd or lower. I'm going to say it's meant to be 4th or lower.
I need a visual. I can't do it in my head.
Yeah.
I am really bad at mental math.
No hate to motorsport.com, but some of their graphics and social media content recently has been absolutely insane. Insane.
It's just like text and words.
It's horrible.
Well, I love the informational side of it, but I need like counting. I need little counting pieces, and I need the numbers spelled. I need it Sesame Street style. That's what I need.
Dead set. There
Count.
For Lando to win the championship. It's looking mighty likely for Lando to win it. Obviously, it has been for the last 4 rounds. This is no surprise. If Lando finishes 1st, 2nd, or 3rd, he wins no matter what. No matter where Max or Oscar finishes, Lando,
if he's in the top 3?
Yeah. 1st, 2nd, 3rd, does not matter. Which is insane because with the McLaren looking likely, will McLaren push Lando for it considering it's the last race and they can? I'd say so. I think Lando's got the championship, but it's still a 3-way battle. Anything could happen. Lando could make a mistake. He could get a puncture. Literally anything could happen. Now, if Lando finishes 4th or 5th, Max needs to finish 2nd or lower. Doesn't matter where Oscar finishes. Still really good odds. Still really scary. If he can finish 4th or 5th and Max just has to be 2nd, oh, are you kidding me? He just has to not win. If he finishes 6th or 7th, Max and Oscar need to finish 2nd or lower. 8th, Max needs to be 3rd or lower. Oscar needs to be 2nd or lower. 9th, Max needs to be 4th or lower. Oscar 2nd or lower. And then 10th or 11th, Max needs to be 4th or lower, and Oscar needs to be 3rd or lower. And anything below 11th, same thing. So
that's absolutely nuts. The amount of, I think someone called it permutations. So of the possible branches of it feels like Multiverse of Madness with the Doctor Strange movie, I think it is. Which is just absolutely nuts. Absolutely bonkers situations.
Yeah. And while I understand F1 is a crazy category of racing and anything can happen, it's looking really likely that the championship's already Lando's because
it's so much easier for him.
He performs well overall. 90% of the time, he's a really strong racer, and those
top 5
happen. The bad luck is the only thing that has really phased him this season. Like, obviously, his oil leak in Zandvoort, not his fault, not really McLaren's fault. Tough luck.
Yeah.
And that seems to be the only scenarios where Lando is struggling. So, as an Australian and a Max Verstappen fan, unfortunately, I think Lando will win the championship. But at the same time, I'm so excited for him and I'm so happy for him because obviously this is any F1 driver's childhood dream to win a world championship. And that's huge for him. He's been working towards it for years. To be in the position to be fighting in the final round for the championship. I hope that kid's proud. I really hope he is proud of himself.
How long? Because he's been with McLaren for a while, and like I'm using Drive to Survive seasons, like 7 years minimum.
2019, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 20. Yes, this is his 7th season. So he's played the team game. You cannot say that. And like in a way, I feel like he almost deserves to be pushed for the championship because he has had such a big role in working with McLaren, developing the car for 7 years. He's worked so hard to be competing for a championship at all, let alone with McLaren, who has struggled. But at the same time, Oscar's done so well to lead the championship for like half the season, more than half the season. So at the same time, I'm like, well, he's worked so hard this season for it. Push him. So I think no matter who wins it's going to be so well deserved. And I'm anxious. I'm excited. But like,
it's definitely going to be like, I'm thinking, because it's really early in the morning, and I'm literally thinking about the fact that I have orange juice and a bottle of champagne, and I'm just going to have to be like mimosa'd out the entire time.
Yeah.
I'm going to be like, otherwise, because I'll be wired otherwise, just like tense. Okay. So there's a couple other points that I want to touch on over the weekend. So there's a couple pieces of news and media day things. So for the 2026 season, Mr. Adrian Newey has been announced to be team principal of Aston Martin. And I feel like this is going to trickle down to a lot of other organizational changes. And what I mean by that is, are we going to see more seasons of Lance Stroll, or is that possibly going to be a change?
Yeah. I think, first, out of that, we also had Lawrence Stroll coming out and saying that Christian Horner to Aston Martin is not happening, which I thought was so funny. Nobody wants him. And it's so, like, it's kind of sad because, yeah, he's done some questionable things, whatever, but he held Red Bull strong for so long. You cannot argue that he's not a brilliant team principal.
He's like a Flavio, but Flavio was banned from the F1 for so long.
Yeah.
And also scares me still. But like Christian needs to go through this, like Flavio was out. And this is not a official like excommunication, but like a social one of like, in this day and age where you can't behave like that, behaving like that is going to get you, ousted and ignored.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
so I think he's going through that a little bit right now. So that was one piece of news that I'm very excited about. I think it'll be interesting to see how his leadership trickles down both into the drivers, but also into the build of the car, because he's obviously known for his incredible ability to engineer a car.
Yeah. And you know what? I really think, like, obviously we've also had rumors, confirmation, I'm not really sure what it is still, that Fernando Alonso is going to be a dad. Congratulations, Fernando. My mum is so upset. But I think obviously 2026 is 100% going to be his last season if that's the case. Might I add, I really hope somebody pulls a Fernando Alonso on him and says, I knew he would break first. He's got a wife and kid at home. It's been like...
That's so funny.
Someone needs to pull it on him. But I do think with that, I think Lance Stroll... This is hard because obviously we've spoken about it so much. I don't think Lance Stroll wants to be an F1. But I think regardless, Fernando Alonso's seat is going to Charles Leclerc.
So let me say two things about that. So on the Lance Stroll side, I've said about Lance, he's not the worst driver. That being said, I don't know that I can say that anymore with this grid, knowing that the Alpine is so bad. Actually, yeah, I'm going to say some things that are going to upset some people. I don't think Lance Stroll is the worst driver. I think the pairing of Franco Colapinto and that Alpine makes that car the worst on the track. Also, just like Pierre's ability to work with it and put it top or put it high up, like he was fighting. He was in Q3 in quali.
So this is why I have the argument with everybody that people are going to hate me for saying this. Pierre Gasly is top 3 drivers in F1. He is
Who are the other two?
Max, Max, and then like Lando and Oscar combined. I don't know.
Where's Charles?
Girl,
we're fighting. We're fighting. No, I'm kidding.
He ain't that strong. He can't wrangle a Ferrari. But like,
I know. I just think that car's gotten so bad.
Any car that Gasly is in, he won in an Alpha Tauri.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Immediately out of the Red Bull into the sister team, the junior sister team. Yeah. So that's just a shout out. But then on the Charles to Aston rumors, he spoke out against them. And during this media day, he like came out and said like, I've seen them, like, if I'm gonna win it, I'm gonna win it with Ferrari. So I was like, so we're not winning it.
Yeah, great. So we're just gonna cry. I don't know.
Ferrari has to be the manual overtake mode winner in terms of engineering for that to happen. Because not that I feel old, but I'm 28, which means that Charles and Max are 28, which means that as drivers, they're getting to be in their middle age of career. Because like we have the old dogs in Alonso and Hamilton. And they are going to be out soon. And they're also like, especially Alonso, no offense, love him to death. But he's kind of up there in terms of age for a driver, not in general. He's still got his whole life ahead of him.
No, but for a driver, he's old.
Yeah. It's different in like athlete terms, but it's so weird to think about. But yeah, I think that Ferrari needs to figure it out next season, or Charles needs to make a move to a team that will give him a WDC before he leaves.
Yeah.
Or like thinks about retiring.
100%. Speaking of retiring, I want to make like a whole video on like driver seat predictions, whatever, whether it's for like 27, whatever, I don't know. But on that topic, I do think next year is going to be both Hamilton and Alonso's last season in F1. And I think then we'll step up to Ferrari. As long as he can like...
Who?
Behrman.
Yeah.
As long as he can like keep showing somewhat pace in that Haas, as long as he's not DNFing every race next year, I think Ferrari will 100% stick to bringing him up. But I really think that Alonso and Hamilton will both go next year.
So I'm going to do my favorite thing to do on this podcast, which is plug another podcast. But on Vanka Hours with Günther Steiner and the Red Flags pod, they were asking Günther Steiner who the best Haas driver. They asked him, is Ollie Behrman the best Haas driver? And Günther said, no, I think it's Nico, but really only because Ollie hasn't had enough time to prove himself as the best Haas driver, which I think is a really interesting place. And I agree with the sentiment. I agree that it's Nico, but I agree that Ollie needs more time to show. And I think there's a lot of potential in him, and he just needs time. But he has really kicked it into gear in the second half of the season. Because we were all Isak, we were all backing Isak Hadjar in the first half of the season, and then Gabby showed form. Kimi's like showing us the reason he has a whole documentary made about him. Ollie also. So the rookies have been a great batch this season.
Literally. And you know what? 2 points off of that. I agree. Hulkenberg is 100% the best Haas driver we've seen.
Sorry, Kevin.
Sorry, mate, but you did okay sometimes, but for the most part. And I love Kevin Magnussen. Like, I love that man, but Jesus Christ. No, but like, we also have to consider that, especially like last season, whatever, Nico coming back into Haas, into F1, he had a lot of F1 experience behind him before coming into like a developing, underdeveloped team. Whereas Ollie, 100%, this is his first season, and he's done really well when you consider that. But like, he's a close second to Nico. Like, he has done really well. And obviously, Esteban, he's done okay with the Haas this season too. But I just
he's not done bad at all.
No, but when you're pairing him up next to a rookie, he just looks a little bit slack, considering his teammates on par, sometimes a bit better than him. Like, it's not embarrassing, but it just like, you're like, oh, you're good, but are you that?
It's a shock to the system of comparison. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And I can't remember
Yeah.
what the point I was going to make is. Yes, I do. I've been saying the whole season Isaac Hadjar is Rookie of the Year. I don't know anymore. I think he's still like one of the top contenders, obviously.
Yes.
No offense, Liam Lawson, you don't stand a chance. No offense, Franco Colapinto, you don't stand a chance.
Not
But
really.
Isaac, Gabby, and Kimmy, this is going to be a tough three-way battle, and like it's going to have to come down to like just who finishes highest in the championship. But like,
Yeah.
they have all been awesome.
They've done such a good job.
And
Yeah.
like,
Shout out to the rookies.
not to be controversial, but if Zach Brown kicked Oscar Piastri, let's be real, out of the McLaren for this season and had put Gabby Bortoletto in because, you know, he was part of the McLaren driver academy, whatever, I think Gabby also would have been fighting for the championship this year.
That's crazy.
I think he would have had potential to go 3 years back-to-back champion, like F3, F2, F1. I think he, like, could have been fighting for it. I know that is so unhinged and we'll never actually know because he's not in a McLaren.
Oh, I wish.
Wrong driver, and he always has been. Like,
yeah.
Sorry, guys, but I think it's the truth. I think he would have been fighting. I think he would have been in the same position as Oscar is right now. Shoot me.
Oh my gosh. I don't think anybody will be upset with that. But let's see. Wow, we haven't talked about it all episode. Carlos Sainz P3, his second podium with Williams. And here's the thing, a lot of people say, and it's so interesting because when watching quali, once the car's retired once they're like out, relegated, drop zone, whatever, in the garage, they will cut the feed from the T-cam that you can ride on board on F1 TV.
Oh.
It will say the insignia for the team. It'll have the logo, and then it'll say car 1 or car 2. Obviously, Lando is car 1, Oscar is car 2. Obviously, Max is car 1, Yuki is car 2. Alex Albon is car 1, Carlos Sainz is car 2. Maybe it's who was there first. Maybe it's arbitrary. Probably not. For everyone saying that, like, I think for a while we didn't believe in Carlos to figure out the car, and he gets the grace of this is his first season with the team. Yeah. But maybe this is just like my call to action for Alex Albon. Where are you?
Yeah.
Your teammates getting podiums, and maybe it's just been unlucky because I think I remember in Baku was the first podium this season for Carlos. I think Alex had issues, but this race,
what's your excuse?
I think he just like didn't qualify well.
And I have to be honest, it's really like, I don't know if disappointing is the word, but that's the word I'm going to use. It's disappointing when Williams has been so open and upfront about Alex is going to be developing this car. Alex is our, like, not focus, but like...
He's the eldest son. He's like...
He is the one helping to develop this car to be like a race winner. And that's disappointing because he's not really doing that. I think Carlos is. He's finding like the pace. He's finding the podiums. If Williams is to win a race, I think it's going to be Carlos.
Well, right. And I think that that's also what we were talking about that Oscar was doing earlier is what Carlos does when he's in the seat, when he's behind, is he is talking to his engineer and he's having that conversation, you know, coded so that not everybody knows what's going on to a degree. But he's having that conversation and suggesting things. And, oh, my God, it broke my heart. And I got so scared because at one point he comes on the radio. He goes, oh, no, I have understeer. And I was like, oh no, he has understeer. So,
and then at the end, when he was like, it fell off the car. What fell off the car, Carlos?
Oh, that was crazy. Yeah, he red flagged. Whoa, spit it out. He red flagged a session because of that. I think it was a quali. Yeah, it was Q3. Because there was just like something that I think he picked up on the like rolled over on the tire, and because the rubber is so sticky, like it just brought it out with him on track. But yeah, he's like so dialed in to the strategy of it all too, and to like the technical side of it, and outside of like the technical aspects needed for high skill in driving the car, but also the like construction of it and the pieces plugged in. Like I just think that his hard work is paying off. I think none of us were expecting, and we shouldn't have written him off for such a great performance.
Yeah.
But I don't think Alex is carrying the team. I won't say Carlos is carrying it either, because Carlos had some pretty bad races there in the middle. But his highs are higher than Alex's. Like, his ceiling is higher.
Yeah. And like I was saying to you, like before we start this episode, and ironically enough, shout out Britt, who is also not here because she is so sick, the poor girl.
Yeah, feel better, Britt.
We love you. I can't do my other hand. We love you. But Britt ironically found a comment on TikTok as well, as I was saying to Sof, oh my God, I was going to bring this up. But Oscar is to McLaren what Carlos was to Ferrari. And I mean that, I don't know what the TikTok comment meant that in the sense of, but I mean that in the sense of, why is your second driver creating race strategy for you? Why is he in the car going, this needs to be our strategy. If we don't do this, we're not going to do this. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, he should be able to focus on driving. But no, if we do not pit now, we are not staying with Max. We're not catching Max.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah, it was absolutely nuts. It was crazy. But yeah, let me see if there's anything else I wanted to touch on.
Also, much like shout out to old mate who is always worried whether I finish my coffee. I'm gonna finish it.
I believe you. Okay, let's see. The end. I want to talk about the end of the race a little bit. It was a really quiet cool down room. They were just kind of sitting, chilling. I think Oscar was feeling probably pretty bittersweet because he drove for his life, basically. Yep. It's like RuPaul's Drag Race when they have to lip sync for your life. He's basically doing that, giving it his all, and net he lost a place in the championship, which is crazy. You win, and yet, like, that's tough, especially at a track that you love. Like, that's really tough. But the cool down room was kind of quiet. They didn't really chat very much. Carlos asked a question of like, he goes, were you guys having understeer? And they were like, no. And then it just like got quiet again. And he goes, I was.
Oh, Muffin. I didn't watch the cool down room. I was so like, I was just off it. That race just like, it really like was off-putting. I don't even know why, but I was just like, get it away from me. I'm done. I'm done with it.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, and then the podium was really chill too. Like, usually, especially when it's like Max and like Kimmy or like one of the rookies, he loves to shower them and they're drenched after. But Hannah Schmitz was up, which I love. I don't care who it is. I love seeing a woman on the podium. Yeah. So she went up with Max, who I think they lip read afterwards that he said, great job with the strategy to her. Of like, honestly, that was I posted on my story, on my Instagram story, of her with like a crown floating above her head because she is the queen today and tomorrow and for the rest of the week. Like, she deserves all of the praise and accolades because she's really done such a good job. But yeah, they like didn't really spray each other very much. It was kind of low key. And I said, everyone was very polite, I guess. No one was really like, and I'll get it in your ear about it.
Up your nose. Do you know what I understand about Red Bull? I hate that after the race, like after they've gotten a podium, they pull Red Bull over each other's head. I could not.
They spray it up Max's butt. They always, have you seen that? They always like, get him.
Oh, my hair would be sticky, my face, everything would be sticky. Could not do it.
No. Also, I will say,
potentially controversial in a minute. Finish your point.
Oh, I was just going to say, I'm a big Red Bull enthusiast. I had one last night when I went out. It was great. Sugar-free.
Yeah, mate. I will drink.
Yeah, you won't get me to drink a Celsius. Those scare me. And same with a Monster.
You know what? Speaking of Celsius, I've read a lot of studies that sports people should not be drinking them because they can appear positive on anti-doping tests. How the frick are Ferrari sponsored by them? They can't even drink them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's crazy. But yeah, if I'm gonna, sorry to say it, in terms of energy drinks, Alani. I like Alani. I don't know. Yeah. But usually it's for the size of it, and it's not that much caffeine is why I like the Red Bull. This is not an ad. We're not sponsored.
Red Bull.
I just love
No, genuinely, I'm going to send an email to you, Red Bull, if you'd like to sponsor us. please do, because we will literally drink Red Bull every episode. My computer doesn't do this. Anyway, I want to say something that may be controversial. I don't know. I don't think it is, but people in our comment section sometimes really take things personally. It's not that deep, guys. You know how on the like Cars T-Cam, it's either a yellow bit or no yellow bit.
Mm-hmm.
So they can distinguish between the two cars, right? In my head, the number one driver for a team always has the no yellow. Number two always has yellow. Obviously, Lando has the yellow strip because it goes with his brand and everything. But I think if you're going to be picky and want the yellow strip, you need to settle for being number two driver. I don't know why, but
that's a crazy thing to say.
Tell me another team where the yellow strip driver isn't number two. Colin Pinto.
Yuki is yellow.
Lewis Hamilton.
Carlos, I think.
Lance Stroll. They're always the second driver. And Lando, I think, is the only one who isn't.
He has a really good helmet design, though. Like, his brand is...
It's stunning.
Cool. It's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would never wear fluoro, which is the only issue. But the, like, loops, very cool.
I say I would never wear fluoro, but the, like, Max Verstappen Dutch Grand Prix hoodie I have is...
The bright orange.
And I do enjoy wearing that. And I didn't realize how, like, highlighter orange it was until I wore it a few times. And I was like, hey, I'm standing out in a dark room.
Traffic cone.
Yup.
Cosplay.
Jesus.
Oh my gosh.
On F2 quickly before we finish this episode.
Please. It was the season finale. I don't know why I did this. This is an interesting thing to do.
Penultimate round, mate. Penultimate round, but we have a championship winner.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I don't care about the sprint race. Whatever. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about qualifying. I don't want to talk about practice. The feature race. There's still a five. There was 5 people in contention for the championship. 5.
That's nuts. I love a feature series.
I love them. They're just so much chaos everywhere. And they're beautiful. I love the feeder series. Any of them. F2, F3, F1 Academy. I don't care. Give them all to me. They are so much fun. So much fun. And I think you probably know that if you watched last week's episode when I was very animated about the F1 Academy race in Vegas.
Oh, goodness gracious. It was nuts.
Chaos. But yeah, going into the feature race, 5 drivers could still win. It was Leonardo Fornaroli leading it after winning the F3 title last year. He won it in the last lap, last corner of the last round last year. Mm-hmm.
I love the feeder series.
I know my goat. So there was Leonardo Fornaroli, Jack Crawford, bittersweet because he deserves a chance to win a championship. He's pretty openly said that he's not going to be an F2 next season, just doesn't have the budget sort of thing.
Yeah.
Luke Browning, he stepped up to F2 for the last 6 races last year when Colin Pinto got moved up to F1.
Okay.
Brilliantly. He did really well. Who did I say? Fornaroli, Crawford,
Browning.
Alex Dunn, who just left the McLaren driver development program. All signs lead to him being signed by Red Bull. That is all I'm saying.
Interesting. The Irish government was trying to find a way to fund his career.
Yeah, insane, right?
Yeah.
Okay, while we're on the topic of governments trying to help drivers, the government of Paraguay can't legally fund Joshua Dirkson's racing because they're not allowed to. It's illegal. I don't know. There's a law against it. But
yeah,
their prime minister helps him on race strategy. Are you kidding me? So cute.
I love when a whole country backs their driver.
Well, it's so odd for Paraguay. There's motorsport, but it's rally or nothing.
That makes sense.
Paraguayan, I don't know how you say it, I'm so sorry. You see them going to single-seater racing. Joshua Dirksen is an anomaly. Spit it out! He's an anomaly, and I mean, in my journalistic side, we just did like exclusive interviews with him and his manager, and his manager literally said the entire country treats him as though he's an F1 driver. Like, that's how special he is.
That's awesome.
Not important. Back to the point. Who was the 5th driver? Richard Verschoor, a Dutchman with the initials VAR. Terrifying.
Right.
Hunting them down. Man's old. Man's been in F2 for a while. He's just unlucky when it comes to the championship. Do not ask me what the conditions were for Leonardo Fornaroli to win the championship. It was something about he needed to have a 40 gap lead on Richard Verschoor to be able to win. Or Abu Dhabi. Something like that. And he did it. He came second in the feature race. Poor kid did not know he was about to win the championship. The team was just like, you need to catch Victor Martins, you need to win. So they were just focused on the race win. It took for him to get out of his car and they went, oh, by the way, you just won the championship.
Oh my God.
Excited, bawling his eyes out. Kimi Antonelli comes running and grabs him. Oh my gosh, so cute. Post-race was a bit of a bummer. One of my friends got a message from Chris Medland, which basically said, hey, is my maths right? Because if Arvid Lindblad, who's under investigation right now, gets his penalty for safety car infringement, Richard Verschoor gets promoted to P5 and the gap will no longer be 40 points, it will be 39. Which would mean after they've just crowned him champion, his championship would be revoked. Arvid Lindblad was summoned to the stewards. It was 11:15 my time, so like 5:15 Qatar time, maybe 3:15, something like that. Don't quote me. That was the longest wait. I think it was as long as like waiting to see if McLaren was disqualified last weekend. That's how
my God, yeah.
To hear if Lindblad was getting this penalty or not. He didn't. Thank the racing gods that he didn't. I need to try and put this video. Fornaroli hunted Lindblad down. Lindblad walked out of that steward's office and he was like, hey, did you get a penalty? So cute. Let me... Oh, okay, here we go.
So funny. I mean, like, I'd be doing that. You're okay.
He basically goes on to be like, Mamma mia, when they told me in that press conference room that I might lose the championship, that was like a cold shower.
That's crazy, though. They should... Either the FIA should go through it quicker, which is a lot to ask, especially when, like, they're not consistent groups of people and boards of people and all that. Like, they should wait. It would suck. Like, it would be like Abby Pulling, where, like, she had won it, and then they were like, no, actually, not really.
And that's the thing. I'm almost like, Invicta Racing, they're fantastic, but surely they should have had, like, the conditions of him winning the championship written down somewhere. Surely, in like, if Richard does go up to P5, we're done. And surely they should have seen, well, there's potential. Let's not rush into this whole championship thing yet. Let's say, hey, at the moment, you're looking like you've won the championship.
You're sitting pretty.
If Arvid gets his penalty, it goes into Abu Dhabi. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Thank goodness they didn't have to uncrown him, because I would have bawled my eyes out.
That would have been tough.
But that was anxious. That was really anxious. So now he's the first Italian driver to win F2.
Really?
GB2, whatever. But like in F2 since changeover, he's the first Italian to win. And
that's awesome.
The second driver to go back-to-back titles in F3 and F2 with Trident in F3 and then Invicta in F2. Our first one being last year with Gabby Bortoletto, who obviously was standing there under the podium. Cute little moment with his old team.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was just so wholesome. It was beautiful. Poor little Dot. If he got that championship revoked, I think I would have actually had a meltdown.
No, that would have been so tough. I don't want to think about it.
I think I would have cried. But overall, Qatar, what the frick? The whole week.
Lots happened. We like barely spoke about the sprint. I mean, it was great. Oscar topped all the sessions.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Our man's back.
Yeah.
Please do it again next weekend, Oscar.
We'll have to see what happens. Join us for the final recap of the season for Abu Dhabi. We will be talking about our champion, who, I mean, could be any of the three at this point.
Don't
So,
place your bets. Let us know who you think. Should we make a prediction? Should we try and guess who's going to win? I don't think it's possible.
Max. I'm backing Max.
Oh, I want to back Max. I want to back Oscar. I think Lando's got it.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like, I can back Max, but I don't want to root for other people to do poorly. Like, that feels disingenuous.
Okay, if I'm purely guessing on who's going to win without, like, honestly hoping anyone wins or whatever, I'm going to say I think Oscar will win. Only because since Vegas and taking all these parts off and fixing their car, he's back with the pace and speed. And after this weekend, he obviously bounced back. So I think luck's going to be on his side and he's going to somehow do it. That's just my guess. But statistically, I think it'll be Lando.
It's looking like Lando, but we counted Max out at the beginning of the season, and now look where we are. He was 100 points down a handful of races ago.
I think he was like, what, 136 points down?
It was something nuts.
Insane. Never give
Yeah.
Max Verstappen a statistic. Never count Max Verstappen out of a championship or a race.
Yep.
That's your lesson for this Monday, Sunday, wherever you are. But yeah, on that note, we will see you to speak about our 2025 F1 World Cup after Abu Dhabi next week. Tune in, let us know who you think's going to win, who you want to win, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.